So there's no doubt about it. Competition is getting fiercer on YouTube. But if you have the right strategies and you position your channel well, brand your channel well, and create great videos, you can, of course, still stand out and grow a channel in 2023. And so in this training, I'm going to be joined by my friend Dan from VidIQ, and we're going to be looking at some videos from our community as well as some channels from our community and breaking down some very practical tips. So if you're starting a new channel in 2023, you're wanting to grow your channel, if you're looking for some very specific insights about how you can make better videos and even improve your channel, I encourage you to buckle your seatbelt for the next 50 minutes because we're really going to be sharing some actionable advice that will benefit you in a major way for getting more views and subscribers on YouTube. But if you're just joining, my name's Sean Cannell. Welcome back to Think Media. I want to welcome Dan, my friend from VidIQ. Dan, how's it going?
It's fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing super well, and I'm excited to get into our first channel and video today. What we're going to be doing is looking at some of our students from Video Raking Academy. They submitted their channels, and we're going to start with Cigar. And I love his channel. As I was kind of looking at this ahead of time, really good topic. Seems to be personal development. You could immediately catch. I kind of like that he doesn't say what it is, but he just tells it in logos. But immediately what caught my eye was the thumbnails being a lot about books that are personal development books. And that seems clear to me immediately. And this is also a personal passion of mine when it comes to personal development and personal growth. And so I will check in with your insights in just a second here. But one of the things we're going to be doing is some video reviews and see what we can learn
by some amazing authors
about improving the videos.
If you're like me, then you have a huge stack of books that are on your to-read list, and that list is growing faster than you're reading. You aren't able to keep up with it. So how about this year?
You know, it's a really good opening to say if you're like me, because it's relatability. Clearly, if you'd click on a video like this, by the way, I was actually right before this training telling Victoria and Kyle on the Think Media team, I was like, this is my favorite person. I was like, I'm a book junkie. I buy all these books and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, we built a bond, and he also cuts right into it. I think sometimes people take too long on their intro and they think about talking too much about what they're going to talk about or whatever else. Just boom. If you're like me, you have a lot of books on your shelf. Talking also about the pain point, because I also buy more books than I could ever read, but let's keep it going.
Here we dedicate a slot of our time towards the knowledge, experiences, life stories, and creative fiction writings by some amazing authors. Let's not be one of those people who just wants to rack up their number of books they have read each year. Let's slow down.
I feel like he's literally calling me out.
Pick one book a month and immerse ourselves in the writer's mind. I'm keeping all three mediums of reading when I talk about these books. That's physical, Kindle, and Audible. The first one is Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari.
Good B-roll, good jump cuts, good keeps it interesting in the beginning, some text showing up on screen. I'm pretty into it. One thought as we talk about the practical things, and I'm listening on some good headphones here, and if you're live, let us know in the chat. But I see the Rode mic, but I can tell you're definitely in probably a very echoey room. And so it's just something to consider. I think that the audio is completely sufficient. It's not your biggest challenge, but thinking about a couple things you could do. You can actually put comforters, blankets on the ground, which would dampen the sound if you wanted to adjust that. You know, at Anderson Studios, which is where we film the Think Media podcast, we actually do have sound panels. Probably not practical if this is a living space, but having something on the ceiling. Or the other side is going a microphone like this. And I think having a mic in the shot or something, could really cut down and make that audio a little bit crispier, because it does have that. I could tell it's kind of a room echo. And so, of course, if you're not subscribed to Think Media, we talk more about that. And Omar and Nolan are always dropping free game on cameras, microphones, and all that kind of stuff. But Dan, any thoughts about the opening and the video so far?
I love it. I agree with everything you've said thus far. I did notice the audio as well. I like their setup a lot. I think the simplicity of the space that they record their A-roll in is just really nice and clean, and it just feels comfortable. You know, I love the jump right into it attitude of the intro, as you mentioned, and like you said, the B-roll too. So yeah, everything in terms of production value, The only thing I can really knock them on is the audio, which is a good place to be. They have a lot of stuff I think really honed in here. And as the video keeps going and you're scrolling through, you can see the pace doesn't stop. You're still getting a lot of B-roll. You're still getting a lot of jump cuts. And I think with these chapters and the length of each one, I think there's like just enough time to give people a synopsis of like what these books are, why you should read them, but then at the same time keep this video moving. So I think this channel is like firing on all cylinders in terms of production value.
Sounds like then you know how
Awesome.
amazing
Let's
he
check out
is,
the outro.
and that's why I'm picking up an Audible copy of this as well. He actually has conversations and dissects and discusses everything that happened between each chapters. So that's it. That's my to-read list for 2023. Let me know in the comments below what you are going to read this year. Thanks for watching. Until next time, cheers.
I think the outro is really good. I think that one of the opportunities, though, with the outro is to, we like to say, agitate the next problem or open up a new loop, meaning rather than, so that's it. Because chances are when you say, so that's it, they'll jump off. And I think that's clear. It's very short. You're very concise at the end. But you might say, but hey, if any of these books interest you, then you want to check out this, then click or tap the screen to check out this other video I did about my favorite books to read last year, or the 7 tips for how to read more. And it's a video that ties into the last one, or you take it a different direction. So you're not giving a random call to action. What I would argue is that we teach the perfect video recipe here at Think Media. It's the big idea, the hook, the content, and the transition. So it's how are we transitioning? One of the biggest mistakes I see people make, I was just doing some coaching yesterday, and they were like, if you know, so hey, thanks for watching this video. If you want to check out another video, click here or here or here. And I was like, you just told me to go 3 places. Like, where do I click? And then it was like, there was thumbnails on screen, but the end cards were different. And then there's the subscribe button. And I was like, I'm about to have a meltdown. There's like, you just told me to go 14 directions. I would argue the best way to end a video is to encourage people to go 1 direction and to actually tie it into the content you just shared. And with the channel like this, that should be relatively easy, because if I was interested in these 12 books to read on kind of a self-help thing, then growth mindset, all of these other things are super relevant. And it's just a way to potentially increase session time, keep people on your content, and serve that individual viewer that might want to hang out with you more and they don't know about some of the other videos in your library. But Dan, what else are you thinking here on the channel as we land the plane on this one?
Yeah, I did see one video up top where it looked like they were doing a workout video, and I get the mindset kind of content that they make. I can understand maybe why that video kind of fit in, but you'll notice like what's kind of crazy about this is it's positioned as a challenge, and it actually has a lot more views in recent history, you know, compared to some of the other videos they're doing. Here's what happened when I did 100 squats every day. Like, it for a channel that reviews books, this still seems a bit out of character for that channel. And it's got to be kind of interesting for them because they're looking at their numbers on this video, and then they release some more listicles, which I love that they're doing on books, and they're not comparing. So now you're asking yourself, should I do more workout videos or should I do more, you know, book reviews? And that to me does feel like 2 separate audiences, even though for you, it's kind of coming from the same place. Like, this is all for you. It's all your life, right? You're trying to make sure that your mind is strong. You're trying to make sure that your body is strong. So for you, this all makes sense. But I think for just the average viewer on YouTube who's just subscribed to your channel and they're trying to figure out, okay, what's this channel going to be about? There's going to be things that they like doing, things that they don't like doing. You know, so that is going to be something to factor in here.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say that in isolation, the opening of this video is really great because it shows the payoff. Why? What do you get? Oh man, your partner comes up. Mission accomplished. You know, this is okay. I want to do squats because I'm trying to get the attention of my wife like that. You know, and so. But I feel you, and I think that the final thing and something strategic, whether you're watching live or on the replay, is thinking about what are your best topics and how can you double down on your best topics. You're right, that is interesting, but as people subscribe to that, the goal is like, we never want to upload videos subscribers didn't subscribe for. And so the more diverse subscribers, if they for sure just wanted more of that. And I think the one thing I would say, Dan, is if you can bridge it, what I encourage people to do, like the bridge would be like, you know, so as you're landing the plane on a video, or you're kind of transitioning, you're like, so hey, that was kind of my journey of doing 100 squats. A little bit different than the content we normally post here, but if you're all about personal development, you're all about mindset development and casting the vision for the channel, I think a mistake people make is they always go hit the subscribe button and they don't give people a reason why. Whereas if you actually give a piece and reason why, you might even kind of say like, hey, and by the way, you should subscribe if, like only if you love books, personal development, and you want more content like that. And so that's some great insight there, Dan. And by the way, before we get into the next one, today's video is brought to you by VidIQ. Shout out to VidIQ for sponsoring this video. And if you go to vidiq.com/think, right now you can actually get a $1 trial of the Boost plan. I'm excited to show you something that some new features that they've added, and we'll jump into those a little bit later. But you can check out the link in the description there. But let's dive into the next channel with Traveling Karina. And we aren't doing open channel reviews right now. These are students that already submitted a video in our private group, but definitely stick around because of the insights and details that I believe you'll be able to learn here. So as soon as I see the cover, I love it because I get what it is. This is also one of my favorite things. People ask, what should I name my YouTube channel? Here's your 3 options: your first and last name, a name and a niche or a niche, or just a full brand name. Think Media is a brand name. My Sean Cannell channel is a first and last name. And what Karina's doing here, though, I think is a really cool way to name a channel. It's the Traveling Karina. So you get the niche and you get ultimately what it's all about, and that becomes clear. Info, tours, reviews, hotels, cruises, and destinations. Know what to expect before you go. Very great. And then the videos seem to back that up, and it's clear that you're traveling and doing these different things. So I love that. Let's dive into a quick video review.
Hola, welcome to my channel. This is Traveling Karina, and this video is all about the day trip that we took with Raul to Moran on our last visit to Cayo Guillermo, Cuba.
So pretty good. I think great, very warm. I think for the desire of a viewer, this would probably satisfy. However, a thought here is I think the hook could be improved because, and I would want to challenge you to pitch value immediately and open up with talking directly to the viewer. Are you thinking about doing a Cuba day trip at or an excursion in Moran? In this video, I recently did, and in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what to expect, what the experience was like, what I learned about how you should dress, and if you can agitate some problems, it's agitating. And like a huge thing I wish I knew before going on this trip that would have made it 10 times better. So watch until the end of the video to check that out. So it's very warm. It's very clear how you open, but it is much more follow you on the journey, which makes sense. It's strong still, but I think about how you could power it up by like talking directly to the viewer of what they're about to see.
I will tell you more about.
I like anybody that's doing bumpers or logo stings. I do like that it's like about 5 seconds or less. I think that's the maximum length it should be. And so pretty great.
I will tell you more about Raul and how you can contact him if you're interested in taxi services in Cayo Coco a little later on. But first, I'm going to show you highlights of our tour to Moran.
It's great. Now, one of the challenges that a channel like this has, just something to wrap your mind around, is you have a huge opportunity for search-based content because people search a specific place, and almost any video, if it's like decently showing things off, it's showing off the Carnival Celebration cruise, so people will search for it. I mean, this did incredible. It got 7.1 thousand views. I'd actually encourage you, as we should always study our traffic sources, to look at where did these views come from. And one of the opportunities, in fact, on the right side of the screen here, you see VidIQ dashboard kind of pop-out box that we get, right? Because we have VidIQ Vision installed. And so I'm able to look at your typical performance of your videos. You can see this on your back end, of course, and how this video did. And this video did, by a factor of like 500% better than typically or more. And so this video is blowing up. But the thing to look at is, okay, why is that? And it could be because it's 2023, it's a new month. Many people are planning out their carnival celebration cruise. And so saying all that, this is a huge opportunity for individual videos to perform well. But one of the challenges that can happen is also enlisting people to your channel. And I'm not sure I even have an answer for that. I do think that one of the things to think about is, again, people are just finding you. They may watch a video and that's all that they want. But how can you storytell as you're doing? How can you get people bought into you and get people bought into more than just practically looking for something they're about to do, of why they should subscribe to the channel even long term. And it could be also a lid of maybe why not that subscribers are low. You're doing great at 380,000 views on the channel, but it could be just something to consider of how are you getting an audience actually bought into you versus quote unquote just search-based videos. But I don't think that's ultimately bad as well, because this can grow incredibly large. You can have breakout videos, and of course it can lead to opportunities where maybe you're getting free trips and collaborating with different travel boards and things like that. But Dan, what are some of the things you see on this channel?
I'm seeing the cruise content in particular is doing pretty well. We get videos that go over 1,000 views when it seems to be about a cruise, and there's some other topics in there as well. I think there's some really good data here to start going off of, and this channel can start to think about things they can double down on thanks to some of the videos that have been particularly successful. Look for patterns in those videos. One thing they did in the intro, that video we looked at, the first one, is kind of a pet peeve, and I just wanted to call attention to it real quick. And you can still do it. I would just do things a little bit out of order. So it's after this part. It's after the title card, this right here. So they mentioned that they're going to go on this journey with Raul.
And how you can contact him if you're interested in.
What kind of got me at the very beginning is they started saying names of people who I didn't know before properly introducing them. And so what happens every time a creator does this, I find myself really distracted because I start to wonder, okay, who's this person? Are they related to this person? Is this another creator that they're collabing with? Like, so my mind's already asking all these questions that is distracting me from like what they're actually saying. They will probably introduce him, but it's just going to take a minute. And so instead, something that a lot of these big channels do is when they're going to introduce you to somebody in the video who you've never heard of before, they go, today I'm doing blank. And this is Tom, and Tom here is going to take us through all the steps. For example, Ryan Trahan, his latest video, he makes a terrarium in his house. And so he went to a pet store and he introduced somebody, I think his name was Sean, in fact, and said like, Sean's going to take us through everything. And if he had gone in and said, today we're working with Sean and blah, blah, blah. And he said it matter-of-factly, like we know who Sean is. We should always know who Sean is. That's confusing. But the way he introduced them wasn't distracting to me. It was just a little thing. It's just a little tweak. And it's just something I picked up on. Overall, though, I agree with your points. I think these are very strong videos. I like how personable they are. I like how warm they feel. I like that I feel like I'm actually with them. It's not like overproduced or anything like that. And this is the kind of perspective I would want if I was looking to travel to these destinations. I want like on the ground, like these are the people I'm encountering and this is what this place looks like, not from the travel brochures, but from like a first person perspective. So I'm really into that.
Yeah. And there's a great question for clarity. And clearly Gus pays attention to our channel here. So he's saying, wait, you said to use the hook, not to introduce people. Now you're saying to introduce people. No, I would say do not use the hook to introduce people.
Right.
Yeah. The hook is going to be grab attention, pitch value. Then, and what Dan was saying was after the logo, then she's like Raul and you see the car driving. So if you actually also think about it like a film, have you ever been sitting there watching a movie and maybe you got like, a girlfriend next to you or somebody and they're like, who's that guy? And you're like, exactly. Like they didn't introduce this character. Who's the character, right? And so that's, I think, exactly what Dan's getting at. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a huge backstory or whatever, but if a character appears out of nowhere with no context, he said it distracted his mind, and
Yeah.
it makes exactly, you go, wait a minute, who are they? And now you're not able to focus on the content because you're wondering who this character is. Why should I trust them? Do you know them, or whatever? And it could be as simple as is just saying, we connected with a local guide. His name was Raul, and man, he was amazing. And then you actually, it's funny, you said, if you want to be introduced to him, and you said that immediately, but actually the better time probably to say that would have been who he is, the value you got with him. And then after you explaining that experience, then it's like, maybe we should reach out to Raul as opposed to up front. So really good question, Dan, or clarification point. I don't think you don't really want to go backstory or too much storytelling or anything crazy in the hook. Story is good, but you want to open loops, create curiosity, grab attention. And so really great points. Now, Karina, I think that, one of the opportunities here that I always think is when you have a traveling channel, sometimes if you're not traveling constantly, it can be challenging to make new videos. And you probably have seen other channels do this, but I love the opportunity for monetizing through like best accessories for travel, 5 things I need to travel with. And there's 10 to 100 videos you could make at home for this channel that could also lend themselves to affiliate marketing. And that could be something really cool. In fact, let's jump into VidIQ title recommendations here. I'm just going to type in channel recommendation, travel accessories. So this is a really cool tool from VidIQ that can help us come up with great titles, but I also use it for video ideation as well. And so you've got the 11 coolest travel accessories for 2023, 5 funky travel accessories you've been missing, how to pack for your next vacation and save money. And so this, I always like to encourage you and everybody, one of the best ways to improve the performance of your channel is to increase uploads. At 10 a month, you're doing great here. It looks like that's probably some shorts as well, which is awesome that you're leaning into those. But sometimes if you find that you're not on the road, that's a challenge for travel channels. Doing things that you can create from home or even batch produce and then schedule upload can be really helpful. This is also kind of cool because the daily ideas tool doesn't just have the personalized ideas. With what you're seeing right here is going to be related to VidIQ scanning, the AI scanning our channel and coming up with ideas. So these would be personal for Think Media, but you also can actually just do custom ideas around a topic. And so this would just be another angle. You could look at the best travel accessories for budget-minded travelers, the worst ways to pack for a ministry trip, how to pick the best travel accessories for your needs. And so a lot of times the next level of growth for your channel is on the next level of coming up with topics that people really want to watch, and that are also, I bring all of that up as well to say we love creating evergreen content or content that is relevant for if I hate cruises, I'm not going to click on that video. If I don't like Carnival cruises, I'm not going to click on that video. If I don't think I would ever go to Cuba, then I might not be interested in that. But if you go travel accessories, I'm following you for travel, period. So I'd ask Karina, what are some broad appeal topics? Travel accessories, tips for travelers, how to save money on airfare. And those are some things that you could potentially tie into your channel that could really lead to long-term growth and continuous views. Any final thoughts, Dan?
No, you nailed it.
All right. And so let's jump into Megan Jostle Art. And we'll start off with a video review from 6 days ago.
You're not sharing your screen.
Okay, hang on. Good mood, good kind of vibe. I get that. The text was its placement was kind of hard that kind of threw me off because I'm getting in with the B-roll, but it was arguably maybe kind of hard to read. I have a big monitor in front of me on mobile that might have been tough. And then I'm kind of wondering just where's the conversation starting? Like you'll notice the palette has some purple too. And maybe that's because it's kind of buried in the right-hand side. I'm just thinking flow. It's sort of, or maybe also a little bit on the left. Notice though, and this I think would be the value of Dan and I just kind of giving you just an outside perspective of like, we always say, if you confuse, you lose. If you don't introduce a character and the person gets confused, they might be like, oh, and you don't want to break that linear aligned flow of hopefully like the video's rolling out, people are interested. There's somewhat of a logical connection to it. So just kind of, we'll keep it going here, but that kind of just sort of broke my brain a little. Now, I don't know if you're comfortable with doing a voiceover or sharing your voice, but I honestly think it would be 10 to 50 times more powerful. I still like the mood, and I love YouTube videos that do have a different pace. Not everybody's video has to be Mr. Beast pace content. In fact, there's whole segments of people that causes intense anxiety and stress because it's like just charged to the max. So there's this whole opportunity on YouTube to have that more serene, meditative, and we need that too. We need mental health content that can just help us relax, tap into the creative side, and not everything has to be in such a rush. Saying that, if you open up with some beautiful music, 10 seconds, 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and your voice comes in, even thinking about the tone and the pace of that, and you might have kind of a welcome, cast a little vision, and you're describing what we're seeing on camera, that's going to be a much higher level of sensory impact as well, because this white text, pretty small, written then over the cloth here, this multiple, if anything, you could also break it up into, this could be 2 different sentences like closed captions as opposed to one big block of text. Technically, it's out of the video editing title safe. And of course, on YouTube, if I allow this title to disappear and the controls to disappear, it's a little bit easier to read, but even being thoughtful about where that text is visually. And so just the thought. And this appears to be that you get to see the entire progress of it, and it's text the whole time. So yeah, I would understand if you don't want to do a voiceover, or maybe in the meantime you feel like you don't have a good mic or anything. You could get away with almost anything. Like, it's pretty amazing how good of a smartphone can be. If you just talk into it like this, you could record an audio file and then use that audio file for, throw that in your video editing software. You could hit record on your video, even put the headphones on, or hit play if the video is in the timeline of an editor, unless you're editing on your phone. But let's just assume you've got a smartphone and you're editing, and you could put some headphones on so you kind of have the music playing, and you could just talk over the video. Like, hey, Sean here, welcome back. I'm painting a butterfly today. I love this image. You might notice the purple, and you can just share and maybe edit it a little bit, but just deliver that audio file. If y'all want a little bit of a hack as well, there's oftentimes when I record on the road and all I have is my phone, I'll be in a hotel room and I'll put pillows around me, or I'll go underneath a blanket. I one time recorded a voiceover at an airport underneath my jacket, and people probably thought it was a pretty weird scene for people to look at because I was in there recording a voiceover. But that dampens the audio. So a lot of times using like free DIY audio hacks and just some kind of a recorder as simple as your phone, you don't need a fancy mic. But Dan, any thoughts on this video?
So you mentioned the text. I noticed that as well. I was kind of confused because the video is about painting this butterfly, and I wasn't really getting the sense that was going to happen, because the beginning portion of the video is kind of mixing all the colors together on the palette. But that goes on for so long that I start to feel internally like, oh, maybe this is a video that's more of an instructional guide on the right way to mix the colors. If you want to paint a butterfly, like, where's the butterfly? And then that pops up. And, the first time we watched this through, I'm like,
that was 14 seconds in, though.
yeah,
it
is that a
is a long time
sticker?
in.
Like, yeah, where did that come from? And it's just kind of stays there too, with no context. Again, like this is what we're painting would have even been a little bit better than having it just kind of pop up a lot later. Using the footage we saw later in the video as B-roll for the beginning of the video, as you're introducing what's going to be done today, even if it's not the complete finished product, that would have been, I think, a lot more powerful because it would have set us up a little bit. Like, we're going to get here, but first we got to set everything up and get all our colors mixed and things like that. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and that's a great, there's best practices. Of course, this is your tube. We always like, YouTube, it's your tube. You can make videos how you want. But one of the best practices that Dan just spoke to is the idea that when you're doing any kind of a tutorial, showing the payoff up front lets the viewer know that's what I'm going to get. And so a lot of times, if it's like a makeup look, right? You open the video, you see the look, and then it cuts back to like no makeup at all. And you're like, wow. And it's saying, this is the transformation we're going to experience. And so watch through the whole video until the end, because that's what it's going to be. So same thing. It could be pitching like, this is the butterfly that we're going to end up with. Boom. Now all we have is colors. And we are going to work our way through there until the end of the video. And so I think that that's a great point, which, the interesting thing is it really would seem it's not a tutorial, that it's more of just maybe meant to be an experience, which kind of also makes me think that things for your consideration, no text could have been an opportunity, and it was a pure experience of music, of getting to watch you paint, and the text doesn't become maybe even a distraction. If it is a tutorial, then using the word tutorial would be helpful, and I think the voiceover would really power it up. And so I think the cool thing here is a couple things. One, you're an incredible artist. These are unreal. Two, you're great at making content. Clearly, you have a good setup and some things happening. So I think you're pretty close to having some opportunities for growth, perhaps leaning into maybe some tutorial-based content and making some tweaks to the video. And so here on the About page, whether you want to learn to paint or you want to chill to music and watch my creative process, these videos are for you. I'm happy to have you here with me. And so I think there's also opportunity. I'm glad we kind of felt that. If you want to chill to music and watch the creative process, I feel like you double down on the experience of just literally that, chill to the music and watch the art. If you want to learn to paint, I think that's a bigger opportunity. I think tutorials are a huge opportunity. Then it's kind of how to paint a butterfly or a blue morpho butterfly oil painting tutorial versus time lapse, and both are an opportunity for you. One thing that it makes me think was, I think Peter McKinnon once was like editing photos, and something to consider. I don't know if any of these are them. It's none of these, and I don't know if it's a video he still has out, but he did one where it was just music and he's editing. Here you go, silently editing photos on an iPad. And so this is kind of a content format that I consider. And it's this idea of pure mood, pure experience, no words. He's got all the different camera angles and all that creativity going. But so doubling down on the footage, the music choice, and going full experiential type video that maybe someone turns on and just vibes out with you, but then adding to your mix tutorials where you're talking to people, maybe instructing them through, I think is a huge opportunity. But this is really great. Let's look at one other thing here and just check it out. We got 47 uploads. Great job. 44,000 views. And that is probably because we're also popping out some shorts, and art is a incredible niche on shorts. Any final thoughts, Dan, in regards to maybe shorts here and the art we're looking at?
Love that they're using shorts. I think good song choice. I think shorts is going to be a huge opportunity for channels like this, where you're a fantastic artist, but you're not necessarily going to make art around a really big trending topic, which I also think is an opportunity. But shorts is going to give you a chance to reach people who aren't otherwise looking for you or anything in particular. That's why I love YouTube shorts. People are just kind of looking to vibe a little bit. And these videos are that. They are a vibe. And there are shorts here with many thousands of views. And again, like I said for the last channel, anything you did in shorts that got thousands of views, it's not necessarily as random as some people think. There's going to be reasons for it. It's probably the first few seconds was just particularly eye-catching. The thing you were actually creating was really eye-catching. Maybe you tried something in the hook of that short that you weren't doing in other ones. So pay close attention to when you see a short pop off and get 20,000 views, where normally you're used to getting 5,000 views. Look into that and really try to analyze it from an outsider's perspective and see like why, like what was it about this one? Was it what I was painting? Was it the music choice? You know, there's going to be something that got people to stop scrolling. It's not completely random. So that would be my advice with regards to shorts. I think, oh man, these look so good. I'm really happy to see what they're doing here.
Yeah, and I think doubling down on shorts, following as shorts get monetized, February 1st, we're thinking, and the rev share kind of goes into a whole nother level. Also, not all views are created equal per se, but our most popular over here on a normal YouTube video is 115 views, and our most popular short is 20,000 views. So clearly shorts, and let us know, Think Media, have you noticed that? Have you posted a short? What is your most viewed video? How many views did it get? And I'm curious, is it a YouTube short that got the most views out of your content? But shorts, I think, are something, and vertical video are something every single person watching this can lean into and benefit from. But there are certain niches that really lend themselves to shorts. Art is one, cooking is one of those. And so I think that as you continue to kind of master the art of shorts and lean heavier in here, but I don't think that also means ignoring these. I think that the tweaking these, maybe, and even how they're titled, back to just thinking about, beautiful, painting a beautiful silently, or to classical music. Think about what is the experience of the viewer? People love listening to these chill hop channels and these different types of music. People love these aerial New Zealand 4K different experiences. So if you're tying classical music or a certain type of music in with art and you want people to vibe and chill, title it that way. And you might get a video. You also could potentially have it be pretty long. Like maybe somebody just wants beautiful art being painted while you've got music playing. Well, then lean into that because you're really understanding who the content's for. And then vice versa. I do think that the tutorials with the voiceovers could be another level over here as well. But I'm curious. Ron here says, my shorts get more views. Shorts are great for artists. Totally agree. And checking in with y'all here. Hit like if you've been getting value today out of these tips. And subscribe to Think Media. We're here with all kind of camera reviews, practical tips for live streaming and creating content, as well as YouTube tips just like this. Carla says, when recording a video, should we also shoot it vertical? Can we reduce the amount of work, not having to record twice? Dan, thoughts?
There's a few ways you could do this. It depends on what kind of video you're making, but assuming it's you in front of the camera. If you're shooting with, here's what you do. Not what I'm doing right now, being way too close to the lens. This is just because the space I'm working in is kind of awkward, but I can't make this into a short because if I were to crop this vertically, you'd be seeing like this. It would be awkward. So what I did, and I don't have it set up right now, is I have another camera off to the side, and that has a much wider shot. And it is recording widescreen, but it's way easier for me to crop in if I ever want to use that. If I'm, using like a replay buffer on OBS to capture shorts while I'm live streaming, that's a good way to do it. It's a great way to just get nice, clean clips. I actually know of creators though that turn their camera vertical and they capture it with, again, 2 different camera angles. They're capturing the same exact content just in that vertical format, really easy to take and edit later. What I will say though, if you're going to do that, you have to do some extra work in the editing process, because you need to remember that whatever you recorded for the widescreen long form viewing audience, it's going to miss some context when you just put it on shorts by itself. You want to give kind of a different hook to it. I like to go back and edit an intro into whatever short that I captured to help the audience understand what they're about to see. So, you know, maybe my voice will come on and says, I was doing a live stream the other day and you'll never believe what happened. And then the original audio comes back and the thing is happening that I said you'll never believe what happened. So those are just my tips for you. I think it's really, really important to have context for any kinds of things you're going to be doing in shorts.
Yeah, and typically best case scenario is to start and make a video for its exact end intent without trying to repurpose it too much. Like sometimes I think we could try to be overly efficient and we lose impact in the process. And saying that when you make a short, all that, like even more so, it's like if you make a short that is probably best way to make a short is vertically on your phone, natively with the YouTube Shorts creation tool that is inside of YouTube. By the way, if you haven't updated your YouTube app recently, there's always new features being rolled out. I mean, one of the big opportunities with YouTube Shorts was they added what Instagram and TikTok have that allow you to green screen yourself. And a lot of things that people do is they react to headlines or they react to a photo, or they have themselves. We've all seen it. You're down in the corner and there's, you know, an article behind you, especially for education or business owners. You maybe react to the fact that the Feds raised rates or something like that. And so making that right in your phone would be, I think, 10 times more powerful than filming a 30-minute YouTube video landscape and thinking about trying to like make it work and do all this kinds of editing. Like you're watching this right now, you could make a short in the next 5 minutes and post it in the next 20. And if you use the Shorts app, it'll probably do 10 times better. I'm saying that you also, of course, can do the repurpose thing. And I saw another question come in. Omar on Think Media does have a great workflow and tips about having a second camera, just like Dan described, that is recording vertically when you're recording content. And to show you what that could look like, I set a camera angle up like that, and it has not made it to my Instagram yet. But let's go over to Think Media Official. Are y'all on TikTok? If not, connect with Think Media on Think Media Official over on TikTok. So here's FTX grew from like zero to valued at $25-35 billion. Sam Bankman-Fried, he's playing League of Legends while doing a $200 million deal. And next thing you know, this whole thing blows up. He's behind bars now, and it's one of the greatest scandals of the recent time. Quickly up, quickly down. Let's blow up, let's go viral, but also, God, little by little, because I don't want to get ahead of you. I want to make sure that I'm growing in honest business practices. FTX grew. By the way, to Dan's point of there you go. When you're filming an angle like this, it doesn't translate as cool to shorts. I'm a little bit more zoomed out than him, or to vertical video, because you could crop here. But as I look at my face, I'm like, dear God, what is that oil accumulating on my face and the shiny? What is happening? Why is I got this really kind comment from somebody that the other day that said, you're the oldest young person I've ever seen. I was like, thanks. Kind of stings a little, bro. Appreciate it. That's YouTube and TikTok comment life. But here's the point. So this is edited together with the two different angles. And this was a, 50-minute training interview I actually did with my friend Pedro, all about wisdom in the book of Proverbs and this challenge he was doing. So Omar does the same thing. This is a Sony ZV-1 zoomed out, or with the wide angle attachment that we have, vertically shot with this microphone. I sync this audio to it. So this just helps. You actually don't even need the microphone, and you could use a phone. I've used my phone a lot, and you set it off to the side. and then you get that vertical angle so that it could be sort of, used for something like TikTok. And then what we're doing here at Think Media is these also can sometimes originate over on TikTok, but as you maybe have noticed, we're posting 2 to 3 shorts a week here now, and we are and then posting all over Instagram and Facebook Reels and everywhere else. So really good question. I want to tee it up with Dan because today's video is brought to you by VidIQ, and one of the things you can check out is for $1 you can get the boost plan and start tapping into some powerful tools. But there's a new tool which is the on-demand YouTube coaching, tapping into the power of artificial intelligence. There's a link in the description to check out this special offer. But Dan, break this down for us in this personal AI coach in VidIQ.
Yeah, so you've likely heard of ChatGPT. So just imagine something like ChatGPT, but trained as a YouTube coach. And that is right now what we have going on with our AI coaching. If you have a VidIQ account at any level of a VidIQ account, you can try this out right now while it's in our trial phase. And I just have like an example prompt put in here. I've been thinking about this a little bit. This is one way you could use this tool. Please give me 5 video ideas for a YouTube channel that specializes in teaching dogs how to do taxes. So we're going to let it think about that for a second. Probably a tough question. Nope. Sure thing. Here are 5 video ideas that could work for a channel teaching dogs how to do taxes. 1, basic tax preparation for dog owners. Okay. 2, tips for filing dog tax returns. Got it. Understand how dog tax credits work, how to benefit from dog tax breaks, and common mistakes dog owners make and how to avoid them. I did this earlier and the results were even funnier. It was even more literal, as if the dog was doing the taxes. So this thing will surprise you every time you use it. So if you want to try this out, again, link is down below.
Awesome, Dan. And yeah, I've been loving VidIQ lately with some of my favorite tools we mentioned earlier is the Daily Ideas tool and just helping me come up with topics. And so right here, I'm logged into Think Media, the very channel we're on. And you get these personal ideas every day. And AI comes up with 50 video ideas every day. I copied Mr. Beast's daily routine for 30 days. But I might say, cool, great idea, but I'm not interested. So I can just dismiss it. It gives you a view prediction from very high, medium, and why would you go below medium? The reason this is a big deal, though, is because if you're watching this, it takes a lot of energy to make a video. So you want to be making sure you're investing your energy in videos that will get you the best return on your time, return on your planning, return on your shooting and editing. And so this is also interesting. It's tapping into Andrew Tate. That would be a very good influence surfing strategy. And tapping into even FloozyTube here as well. But yeah, really cool. So check it out. Link in the description down below. And for a one-day trial of $1 trial of VidIQ Boost. ETX Teller Gaming says, is this the 1K challenge session? No, actually, this is just a YouTube tips. We grabbed a couple channels from our Video Ranking Academy session community, and we are going through video reviews and channel reviews. We're not taking any new submissions, but just to get you some actionable, practical tips. If you're curious what ETX Teller Gaming is talking about, we are actually hosting a free 5-day challenge. It starts next week. If you are serious about growing your YouTube channel this year, for 5 days, 5 sessions, I'm going to be breaking down some of the stuff that we normally just share inside of our paid online course, but you can get access to this free challenge for absolutely free. And so we do this only a couple times a year, and I'm super pumped for 2023. And so we're doing some giveaways and all kinds of cool stuff. So Tube 1K Challenge is where you can register for that. Link in the description as well. If you want to get your first or next 1,000 subscribers and learn multiple different ways of earning $1,000 on YouTube, it's the Tube 1K Challenge. Back at you, 2023, starting next week or sooner, depending on when you're watching this. And let's dive into our next channel. Dan, I'm excited for this one because it's a movie review channel, A-Town Reviews. I review movies and TV series as well as create comedy shorts. If you enjoy what you see, subscribe to my channel. I'm curious what that means by comedy shorts, but maybe they're tapped into the, it looks like they're all still kind of on brand and something to experiment with over here. We've had as many as 5,000 views. So once again, shorts proving to be powerful. But let's kick it off with a video uploaded 35 minutes ago on Heredity scared the shit out of me.
So this is my first ever Patreon movie request, and this request comes from my sister Jamie. And the movie that she requested is A24's horror film, Hereditary. This was my first time watching Hereditary, and I was not at all...
Now, I'm a huge proponent of saying content value is more important than production value, but I am curious of why this is a little bit low quality video-wise. It is HD, we can tell. HD 60, which makes me a couple things. One, it could just be the camera quality. I don't know if it's a webcam of some kind. Two, I'm not sure if I think lighting could help here, because sometimes cameras kind of break down and get a little bit pixelated, a little bit Minecrafty if you don't have good lighting. But three, it also could be something in your workflows, because sometimes, like, even the fact it's 1080p 60, the way it is maybe exported a certain way, maybe you up processed it. Again, you can absolutely, and I know we talk all about tech here at Think, and you can, I really believe you can shoot with a baked potato. You could shoot with an older phone. You could shoot with an older camera and still get great results. But I do think production value is something to consider. And these days, most phones in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years would be crispier than what we're looking at here. So I would just try to reverse engineer your crispy factor and figure out maybe how we could improve that.
Or how terrifying this movie is. Here's why. So I have a confession. I'm a lightweight hater.
Maybe it's also, sorry, and I know I'm going a little bit more, even the focus or the autofocus of it to a point would be something to that. It looks like we lost you for a second. Now, once we get into some of the...
with music blaring loudly for some reason.
Once we get into some of the images, I'm sure you maybe have had challenges. Okay, you do have some B-roll, which is great. And
like those two have
B-roll and photo from the photos. My opinion, for 99% of us as creators, one of the best ways to start and hook viewers these days is without you on camera. I don't think it's bad to start on camera, but I think one of the YouTube legends, he's been on the platform longer than 10 years, his show format, and also seeing him and his team, the way they evolve their content and their editing is Phil DeFranco. And so I want you to consider this for everybody watching, just about how he's opening his videos here in 2023.
The details of this new Logan Paul lawsuit are wild. Alec Baldwin could be going to jail for 5 years now. Diabetics are struggling because people are gobbling up their medication, but for weight loss. We break down the horrifying new evidence against Brian Walsh. We've got all of that and so much more on the first XXL PDS of the year.
So I think that's something to consider, is that, okay, now he's on camera, now he's the host, now, but he starts with,
so this is my first ever,
what you're about to see. And so the way this could open is, you know, Hereditary is, you know, a film by da-da-da-da-da with a little bit of B-roll, a little bit of clips. Some critics loved it, others absolutely hated it. I'm about to get into it, you know, and share my opinion. And then you're like, hey, welcome back. This is my first review from our Patreon community. And so this just goes back to making the hook as strong as possible. And it's not starting with you, it's starting with the promise. It's not starting with you, it's starting with also more sensory overload. Notice that Phil DeFranco is like, he's showing you celebrities, he's showing you Billie Eilish, he's showing you Alec Baldwin, he's got some animation, just a lot happening in the hook. And YouTube is showing this in back-end analytics. They really care, of course, about watch time overall, but even the first 30 seconds, it's saying how many people are still watching during the first 30 seconds. So I don't think you can actually over focus on powering up your hook. But Dan, any thoughts here?
The title is what I was considering, because I agree with everything you said about the hook for sure. I think for this, you got to get a lot of, you got to pick a movie that a lot of people have heard of, a lot of people want to get your thoughts on. If you're going to review a movie that is not trending right now, that's just not as popular, I think you can do that. But this tip is more coming from the perspective of someone who watches like Danny Gonzalez and Drew Gooden content. When they review an obscure movie, which they do a lot, they don't really say the title of the movie and the title of the video, right? It's more like the loudest horror movie ever made. You know, like they try and find an adjective to describe it, and then the thumbnail will kind of match that reaction, you know, to how they're feeling about the movie. So you kind of tease your thoughts on a movie. It doesn't matter if you've heard of it. I'm just going to take you on this journey. We're going to go on this journey together, and you know, you're going to have a good time whether or not this is a movie you plan on seeing one way or another. So because like I don't really know what this movie is. I don't watch a lot of horror movies though, so maybe it's not for me. The more obscure the movie is, though, the more you'd want to kind of bury the lead a little bit, I think.
Yeah, that's great. Let's check out the outro
Hereditary
here.
is a good film. If you go into this wanting to be scared, it will definitely deliver. It's well filmed, well performed. Make sure you check out my previous reviews by clicking on the boxes right here, and I'll see you in a bit.
So back to also what we mentioned a little bit earlier in the training is it's great you gave a call to action and use end cards, but rather than say make sure you check out my previous reviews, a way to end this would have been, and if Hereditary sounds like a movie that you would love, then I think you would really love this movie that actually is about 10 times better. Click or tap the screen to watch it. Send people one place related to the review you just did. If you like this, then you'll probably like this. If you enjoyed this video, then you have to watch this video because it's connected and related. Because just a general, for most people, even the way that YouTube works these days, for most people, they're already, let me know actually if you're like me. When you're watching content, you're like already planning out the next content you're watching. If you're on your mobile app, you're watching it, you use the shrink down feature and you're scrolling for something else to watch. If you're watching it on mobile, smart TV, it's a little bit harder because you're actually on there. But you also go below and you're looking at suggested videos. And especially as the video starts to end, you go into, okay, what am I going to watch next? And so chances are people are just going to bail and jump. And if you just randomly send them someplace, hey, if you just want to watch other reviews, well, now that's too generic of a destination. I don't just think I just want to watch other reviews when the YouTube algorithm is so good at suggesting something specifically. So just a thought as far as ending that you could do is really tie something into Hereditary. And then this is cool because you're honoring your patrons, but I think that also this is overall just going to harm your video, meaning it looks like you did all 20 seconds. And if you had multiple lists to get through and you wanted to honor them, well, that's one thing. I think you could consider, how could you compress shouting out them even during the video so that things are happening, but maybe they're being thanked. And that's even maybe a call to action to your Patreon earlier. But the overall point is that long end cards, even the fact that end cards allow you to do 20 seconds doesn't mean you even should do 20 seconds. People are going to make a decision to watch probably in 5 or 10. And then what ends up happening overall is, even though there's going to be that cliff of average view duration, people will jump off. If you can get average percentage viewed, people watching until the end, it's just better performance overall. So just trimming off the outro, 20 seconds of music and whatnot, it's just not really helpful. I don't think it's necessary. Even these patrons could be honored in 5 seconds. And as soon as you give the call to action, you just let the video end. Furthermore, I don't know, Dan, if it would directly affect session time as I'm thinking, but even the fact if the video can just end and autoplay the next video and just keep the session going, whether it's yours or somebody else's, versus just this kind of 10 plus seconds of just kind of music where people are going to be gone regardless. Thoughts, Dan?
That slow paced outro, I see it in so many videos, those buzzwords. People are waiting. People are listening for those buzzwords of like, well, anyway, you know, they hear the video ending. Some of the videos that I've watched 100% of the way always kind of trick me. I don't realize the video is about to end. Sometimes they cut it off mid-sentence just for fun, you know, and you're not expecting that at all. It does take away from the opportunity if you do that to pitch the next video. But I think what you should do is pitch that next video and get out of there. They're going to decide whether or not to click really quick. So I think for a 4-minute video, if you're going to spend 20 to 30 seconds of it winding down, that's a large percentage. So that represents a large percentage of your retention on that across that whole video. And you're basically losing out. You're just losing out on people. I have a small child in my family that I got a video once of them watching one of my videos, and I gave them a buzzword. I didn't realize I did this until I watched a family member send this to me. I said something, and 30 seconds before the video was over, he taps off the screen on the tablet and smiles at the camera. There's no malice in it. There's nothing. I didn't take anything personal from it. I'm like, oh, he's right. I said something and signaled the video being over. And it was so interesting to see like a small child who wasn't even like thinking about it tap off a video and move on with their day.
Really good. One other thing here is I like your thumbnails. They're pretty simple. The review is clear. The character from the film generally showing whether it's, Avatar or whatever else we're looking at. As far as you being in it, something for your consideration would be two things. If we could create a little bit more depth and dimension of you, which I know that sometimes you could feel maybe limited by the tech, better photography of you could be helpful. Like this photo was probably taken, it's a little bit of dingy lighting is thing one. Thing two is the crop in. I think that in terms of the thumbnail, the crop of you should be like this. And so I don't know if I can zoom in here in my snipping tool, but see, like in your head could probably be about here and body, and then the avatar could be the same as far as here. So typically with thumbnails, I think we see best practice is just zooming in more and not having as much body. Like as we look over on this one, if you start thinking about, is it really necessary to have your whole torso, here versus the crop of even this thumbnail could be this. And that's actually pretty good even as it is. But then you've got the and then you start thinking about your elbow where it goes. But that's a pretty rad, and you could even eliminate this space. And so and then thinking about making your photography a little bit crispier. On Think Media, we have a photo backdrop video that has been very, very popular, and I would argue for all of us, I would challenge you to in 2020.
So I recently installed this photo backdrop
2023 to think about just having ways to take crispier photos for thumbnails. And you don't need all of this stuff, but I would eventually think, could you get a piece of background? You could get a background photo drop or a background gray piece of photo paper for like $20 on Amazon. And then you could just use household lighting, but eventually maybe you get one softbox kit and use your smartphone then and just set the timer, set it on a tripod, and get some nice crispy photos. That all these details, it could help with your YouTube set as well, but thumbnails do matter. And just a thought it doesn't have to break the bank to make these a little bit crispier. And yes, you could even use probably a wall at home and maybe think about the lighting. Even better is if you just do it during daylight, have the window be the light source, and think about, how you set that up. This one's a pretty crisp. These are more crispy. So I could see you're capable using whatever you're using. Some of these maybe were taken at night or something, so a little bit dingier, but this is nice. Even the way the skin tone here, it makes me think this is probably like a window light. And then saying that, to just land the plane here, is this could be the crop of the thumbnail, and it could still say, review right here. And I know it's super small on the screen and I can't really zoom in, but for what it is, Microsoft snipping tool, Dan, what do you know about? We're big tech here at Think Media. My Microsoft snipping tool, there's a thumbnail crop. It could probably even be more cropped like in there at times, but the arms is great. And so loving that. But Dan, one final tip just for creators in 2023 and what you're seeing on YouTube and what's the opportunity that you are seeing. And then I'll share some final thoughts as we close.
I feel like if I say this, I'm going to get punched, but shorts. Shorts is the opportunity. I don't care what kind of content you make. Look around, see if shorts are, something that you could benefit from. I think they are, because there's so many channels out there that are doing something very specific, and getting discovered can be very, very tough, especially if you're like, I don't want to make search-based content. I that's not what I'm trying to do. Shorts just kind of covers all bases. I would urge you to educate yourselves on what makes a good short. In my opinion, it's going to be keeping in mind what people are thinking when they go into the short shelf. They're looking for that quick fix. They're not looking to be pushed to a longer video. They're there for a limited time just to get something real quick, a quick laugh, whatever it might be. And if, as long as you keep that in mind and you're making videos that are specifically for a shorts audience, you can find really, really great success there. And when they're ready to watch a long form video, YouTube will recommend your long form content to them. It didn't used to be that way, but it has changed. YouTube has updated things in the background, and you can now get people watching your shorts to come back and check out your long form videos. But you got to respect the fact that sometimes they're just in the mood to watch shorts. So, learn how to use them, get some shorts on your channel, and it's very, very powerful. And the opportunities are just going to keep getting more powerful because monetization comes in just a couple weeks.
There's Dan's cattail making its way as the third character of today's training. Dan, I appreciate you. And reminder, if you want to check out VidIQ boost plan for $1 for the first month. For just $1, you can get on-demand YouTube coaching, higher search rankings, trend and competitor alerts, AI-generated titles, and many more cool things. Myself and many incredible creators and all of us here at Think Media love VidIQ. Been using it for, honestly, I've been using it for like 7 years or something, and y'all continue to innovate VidIQ. And so there's a link in the description down below if you want to check that out. Share some love with Dan in the comments, and I'm going to do a lightning round of some of your questions. Dan, thanks for hanging out with us today. And hit the like button if you've been getting value. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And SK1DZ asks, can you do reviews and not show your face at all? Absolutely. A lot of the reviews I watch, I'm not sure if you're talking about like movie reviews, but a lot of them are voiceover, and they lean on still photos, clips from a show, clips from a movie, and they go through all of that content, or B-roll, and their face is never seen. You could absolutely do that. If your channel's not monetized yet, can you still get monetized for shorts? You can. I believe that shorts is 1,000 subscribers and 10 million shorts views. And then you can apply for the YouTube partner program in a 90-day window, and that's rolling. Sometimes people also wonder about, oh no, I didn't hit 4,000 watch hours within a year. Am I disqualified? No, like when it comes to YouTube, it's always rolling. So they look the last 90 days in shorts to apply for the YouTube partner program with shorts only content, or they look at the last 12 months of watch time on your channel, and it's always rolling. And so, good question. Is posting multiple shorts a day okay, or maybe stick to one a day? It's definitely a channel strategy thing. There's actually a creator who I'm planning to have on our podcast who grew 1 million subscribers in less than a month, posting 4 shorts a day. There was obviously a whole intentional strategy there, incredible devotion, and a lot of the intersection of a powerful niche, powerful content, some really cool insights. It's something that I hesitate from because of thinking about whether it's notifications. I know you can turn those on or off. At Think Media, even though we actually have a bigger bank of vertical video than we're posting, we just post 1 video a day. Not that the way we're doing it is correct, but we post either 1 landscape traditional YouTube video a day or 1 short a day, and we're at 7 a week. I also would encourage you that one of the biggest mistakes creators make is they try to imitate a creator or a business or an entrepreneur that's further along than them, without the same resources that creator has, which is a recipe for burnout. And what I mean is, even if I look at Gary Vaynerchuk and I say, man, I want to do what Gary's doing, I have to remember that Gary's got 20 or 30 people just on his team. He's got 1,000 people in his agency. And so the amount of content he's pumping out is predicated on the team and the systems he's built around that. So for you, if you look at another creator and you just go, oh man, I gotta post I got to post 2 a day, 4 a day. And you're in school, you've got 10 kids, you've got 6 jobs, and you have a sleeping disorder that makes you sleep 20 hours a night. That's going to be a hard time to find some time to also post 4 shorts a day. So all I'm saying is you want to be practical about the season you're in, and sometimes focusing on less uploads that are a little bit more quality, they help you grow. And not only that, ask this question: how do I get to monetization the quickest? And I don't mean YouTube ad revenue. I mean, how do I earn the amount of money I need to go full time from potentially multiple revenue sources? Affiliate marketing, Patreon, channel memberships, create something to sell, merch, all these different things. Because the sooner you get money coming in is the sooner that you could get good software, hire somebody to help, delegate something you're doing in your life, hire a house cleaner because now you just got yourself 3 hours, hire a nanny because now you're able to. So it could actually be somebody directly related to your channel that's editing videos for you, or it could be the fact that you're able to go part-time at your job or completely quit your job because of the money coming in. You just hired yourself, or hire a nanny or somebody to help with the house or a video editor, and then you can go further faster. So don't fall into the trap of like comparing your beginning to somebody else's middle, especially in terms of the outputs that they're doing, when you don't necessarily know the behind the scenes of how they're creating all that content and pumping out all that content. And by the way, if you are specifically wondering, how do I earn money on YouTube, especially if I'm not monetized yet? That's one of our favorite things to do here at Think Media. A lot of our people in our Video Rake It Academy program and that have been a part of our challenges have discovered that you can make big money with a small channel. And next week we are hosting a free challenge. It's 5 days long. It's called our Tube 1K challenge. And it's all about how to get your first or next 1,000 subscribers and how to earn $1,000 on YouTube in multiple different ways. And so every day we're talking about monetization strategies. Every day we're talking about the best strategies for growth on YouTube in a 2023 world. We're going to be talking about short form content, YouTube Shorts, and we're going to be talking about really 5 different YouTube strategies of not how we have just grown here at Think Media, but continue to grow, how we've started multiple channels, grown multiple channels past 100,000 subscribers, and how we've helped now thousands of students do the same. And you can be a part of this whole thing for free. We're also doing a big giveaway, which is exciting, giving away a YouTube studio during this challenge. And you could win a Sony ZV-E10 and lights and microphone. There's daily giveaways or giveaway memberships to some cool software that'll help you. And people have loved this challenge. I mean, it's one of people's favorite things that we do every year. Actionable steps, the energy that you'll get, the inspiration, and the community that you'll meet. If you're serious about growing a YouTube channel, you're serious about moving from just dabbling to really dominating on YouTube and ultimately punching fear in the face, punching perfectionism in the face, and pressing record in 2023 and really building your YouTube empire, you're going to love it. So if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description to the Tube 1K challenge that does start next week. Depending on when you're watching this, if you're watching the replay, it starts on a Monday, January 23rd, every day streaming in our private group. And you can see all the details. You might need to convert your time zone or whatever you're thinking. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Let me know, are you registered for the challenge? Let me know, what is one of your goals on YouTube in 2023? Hit the like button if you were getting value out of today's training. My name is Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel, and Think Media is all about the best tips and tools for helping you grow your influence with YouTube and online video. The 1K challenge, it's happening. Have you been a part of it in the past? Have you enjoyed it? And let me know. Jadell says 45 minutes and I'm ready. That's right. Awesome. Thank you for being here from North Carolina. What's the link to join the challenge? Victoria will throw that up on screen, but tube1kchallenge.com. That's the word tube, the number 1, the letter K, challenge.com. It's also in the description down below where you can check that out. Let's see. Oh, I appreciate all the comments going a little bit fast here. Let me see if I can catch up. Jason says, my goal is to start another channel and to grow them both. I love it, Jason. Very good. Brigado. says potential for monetization on YouTube is determined by the language of the channel. It is not. YouTube is available in over 100 countries and over 80 languages, I believe, as far as there's like YouTube Mexico and different things. The qualifications of the YouTube Partner Program can vary, and it is not like 100% of the world's countries, but a lot of the main. Let me know where you're actually at. You should be able to monetize locally. And sometimes one of the things to consider with YouTube is it's not about where you're based. It can also be about who your viewers are. So, I mean, to put it in perspective, I know where you live, where your AdSense account is set up, which is how YouTube pays you, what your address is or your bank account information matters. But just imagine if I left the United States, where I'm coming to you from right now, and I just spent a year in Europe and I kept uploading videos here on Think Media. Well, I get paid based on the viewers, meaning if people watch in Canada or the US or Australia, typically those are higher CPMs. And if I upload while I'm in Japan, like my friend Benji is right now, people are still going to watch the video in the same place because that's where our momentum is. So the language you create content in, the types of people or the locations of viewers all matters because that affects CPM, which is the rate in which you're paid. But in summary, you absolutely should be able to monetize no matter where you are in the world. And YouTube continues to expand. Any advice to gain 1,000? That's what we're spending all week long next week training on. So I invite you to join us for the challenge, and you're going to love that tube 1K challenge.com. I am live on Facebook right now. We're using StreamYard, so I'm able to multi-stream. I'm here on our Think Media channel as well as over on Facebook. You got it. Hey, I appreciate you. God bless. Really grateful for you. And I agree. It would be awesome to have Benji. He literally is on a plane right now, though, to Japan. But Benji and I got to link up and bring him back on the podcast. If you didn't hear, we actually got hacked. We'll be definitely sharing you some information, and we're in a process of getting our Think Media podcast channel back. The good news about having a video podcast, never would have thought, is that if your channel goes down, it's good to have a backup. And you can always check out our Think Media podcast, fully available on audio right now on all of your platforms. You can check it out on Spotify, on Google, on Apple. But some people have been wondering, Sean, they're like, I don't see Think Media podcast videos in my feed. Yeah, we got hacked, dude. And I'm not happy. But we're working with the Google Accounts Recovery team. And it's actually a pretty common hack. I've had multiple other creators that are larger creators. Not to worry, but I suppose it would be cautious. Probably a good time to make sure you've updated your password. Probably a good time to make sure your password is strong. Probably a good time to make sure you have two-factor authentication on. And trust us, we've had some incredible friends and content creators that have reached out, have shared some insights. We had all of those things happening, and we've learned a lot. So we are going to be creating some videos, creating some content, and sharing tips of how you can protect yourself because some of the hackers are getting pretty sophisticated. And so it's been a wild world. Listen, my name's Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel. Hit like if you got value out of this video, and click or tap the screen to check out a video I did all about 10 things you need to know about YouTube in 2023. I appreciate you so much. Keep crushing it, keep smashing it, and we will talk soon.